If I gave you $1 million right now to go after your dream, would you wait until tomorrow to start? Then why do you wait? When the clock is ticking and your life is the only investment? Procrastination is not harmless. It's not just waiting or taking your time. It's destruction, slow, quiet, invisible destruction. It doesn't crash into your life with chaos. It seeps into your daily decisions like poison in a well. One, I'll do it later, becomes 1 year lost. 1 year becomes regret. And regret? That's the heaviest weight a person can carry. Let me tell you exactly why you must stay until the very end of this speech. Because today is the day you either kill procrastination or it keeps killing your future. What I'm about to give you is not fluff. It's not theory. It's a blueprint, step by step, battle-tested, and forged in the trenches of real transformation. But it only works if you hear every word and use what you learn. So let's go to war with procrastination and win. Most people think procrastination is just a bad habit, a little delay here and there, harmless, even normal. But the truth is far more dangerous. Procrastination is a silent dream killer. It's not loud. It doesn't come with flashing warnings or dramatic breakdowns. It creeps in. It whispers in your ear, "You have time. Do it tomorrow. You're not ready yet." And we believe it. We nod, we scroll, we rest, and we let another day pass. The damage isn't immediate, which is what makes it so lethal. If every time we procrastinated something exploded, we'd take it seriously. But the cost is subtle. It's the job you never apply for, the book you never write, the business you never start, the body you never build, the life you never live. Procrastination doesn't destroy you overnight. It slowly eats away at your confidence, your discipline, your momentum, and worst of all, your belief in yourself. Think about it. How many times have you had a brilliant idea, felt the spark, and said, "I'll get to it soon"? Days pass, then weeks. The spark fades. The urgency dies. And what's left? Guilt, shame, that quiet, gnawing voice that says you could have done more. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how smart you are, or how many opportunities life throws your way if you don't act, if you keep putting things off. None of it will matter. The most dangerous part is how normal procrastination feels. Everyone does it. Everyone says they're busy. Everyone claims they're just waiting for the right time. But if you're always waiting, you're never building. The world doesn't pause because you're hesitating. Time doesn't care if you're scared, unprepared, or uncertain. It just moves forward with or without you. And here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud the window you have right now. It won't always be open. That fire you feel, it won't always burn. The people who believe in you, they won't wait forever. Life doesn't owe you another chance. The cost of procrastination is not just time, it's potential. Every day you delay is a day you betray the future version of yourself who's counting on you to show up. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're done with the cycle of regret and what-ifs, you must make the decision now, not later, to take action. Not perfect action. Not fearless action. Just action. Because motion beats meditation when it comes to dreams. You can't think your way into progress. You act your way into it. Procrastination will whisper again tomorrow. It will dress itself up in excuses, fear, and fake comfort. but now you know what it costs. And the moment you choose action over delay, you begin to take back your life one decision, one step, one day at a time. Procrastination is not a personality trait. It's not something you were born with or something that defines who you are. It's a habit, plain and simple. And like any habit, it was built, reinforced, and repeated over time. The good news is this: if you can build it, you can break it. Too many people walk around believing they're just naturally lazy or that they lack motivation. That's a lie. Nobody is born with a desire to sabotage their own potential. What actually happens is we train ourselves without even realizing it to avoid discomfort, to retreat from pressure, and to postpone action whenever something feels difficult, uncertain, or overwhelming. Procrastination starts small. Maybe you delayed doing your homework as a student and still passed. You delayed replying to an email and nothing bad happened. You skipped the workout and felt fine the next day. Slowly, a pattern is created. Your brain learns, I can delay things and survive. But survival is not the goal. Growth is, excellence is, becoming your highest self is, and that requires doing what's uncomfortable long before you feel like doing it. This is where most people get it wrong. They think motivation has to come first. Once I feel ready, I'll start. But feelings are fleeting. They change with your mood, your energy, even the weather. Waiting for motivation to strike is like waiting for lightning to hit your house and call it electricity. You don't wait, you generate. You create movement, and that movement builds momentum. Over time, the act of showing up becomes your new habit. Breaking procrastination is not about having a perfect system. It's about making a conscious decision to interrupt the pattern. When you find yourself slipping into the same delay mode, recognize it, stop, and make a different choice, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Your brain is always watching, always learning. When you show it that you take action despite discomfort, despite fear, despite low energy, you rewire it to trust action over avoidance. Understand this deeply. You're not a procrastinator. You're someone who's practiced procrastination. That means you can practice something else. You can become someone who starts fast, who finishes what they begin, who moves even when it's inconvenient. That identity is built through small, consistent actions, not dramatic resolution. Every time you override the urge to delay, you reclaim a piece of your power. Change doesn't require complete overhaul. It starts with a single shift. Stop labeling yourself as lazy or unmotivated. Start telling yourself, I take action now. Then prove it again and again until it becomes who you are. Because you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And the habit of immediate action is the foundation for anything great. Most people think they procrastinate because they're lazy or undisciplined, but the truth runs much deeper. Procrastination is not a time management issue. It's an emotional one. We don't delay tasks because we don't know how to do them or because we can't find the time. We delay because of how those tasks make us feel. Fear, self-doubt, overwhelm, anxiety, these are the real culprits behind delay. And until you learn to recognize and regulate those emotions, you'll keep getting caught in the same loop of avoidance and regret. Think about the last time you procrastinated. It probably wasn't about some massive, life-changing task. It might have been something small, replying to a message, making a phone call, writing a few lines of content. sending in that application. And yet, despite how simple it seemed, you avoided it. Why? Because something underneath made you uncomfortable. Maybe it was fear of being judged, fear of not doing it perfectly, or fear of failing altogether. And rather than face those emotions, you chose to scroll, clean, snack, or distract yourself with something easier and more pleasurable in the moment. This is how procrastination operates. It promises relief from discomfort now. It tricks you into thinking you're protecting yourself from pain, when in reality you're stacking more pressure, guilt, and stress into your future. But here's the key. Once you understand that emotion is the trigger, you stop trying to fight procrastination with willpower alone. You start addressing the real issue. You become curious instead of critical. You pause and ask, what am I feeling right now that's making me want to avoid this? That question is powerful. It pulls the emotional pattern out of the shadows and into the light. And once you name the emotion fear, doubt, shame, you disarm it. Emotions thrive in secrecy. But when you acknowledge them, they lose their grip. You regain control. This is the shift from shame-based self-talk to strategic self-awareness. You stop saying, what's wrong with me? And start saying, what's going on inside me? That difference changes everything. Because now you're not battling your own identity, you're simply managing an emotional response. And emotions can be managed. They can be understood. They can be reframed. So the next time you catch yourself avoiding something important, don't just push through blindly. Stop. Breathe. Name what you feel. Then take a small action, any action. Because once you act, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you. That doubt doesn't dictate your behavior. That you can feel the discomfort and still move forward. Mastering procrastination isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about learning to act even while emotions are present. That's real power. That's what separates those who dream from those who execute. It's action. Pure, simple, forward-moving action. Most people spend so much time planning, thinking, rethinking, waiting for the right time, or trying to find the perfect system that they forget the truth. Nothing changes until you move. You don't think your way into progress, you act your way into it. Action is the antidote to procrastination. Not because it erases fear or uncertainty, but because it breaks the cycle of paralysis that keeps you stuck. Here's the thing, your mind plays tricks on you. When you think about the whole task, the whole journey, the entire project, your brain gets overwhelmed. It sees everything that could go wrong. It imagines the energy it might take. It drowns in what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. That mental overload becomes emotional weight, and the natural response is to avoid it altogether. So you don't start. You say, I'll do it later. But later never comes. Not because you don't care, but because you never gave yourself a small enough doorway to step through. That's why the moment you take any kind of action, no matter how tiny, you break the trance of inaction. The first 2 minutes are the hardest. But once you move, your brain shifts. Your body gets involved. Your perspective changes. What felt impossible 5 minutes ago starts to feel manageable. The task doesn't get easier. You just stop letting your mind inflate it into something it's not. Momentum is a powerful force, and it doesn't require massive effort. All it takes is one step. Write the first sentence. Make the 5-minute phone call. Open the laptop. Read the first paragraph. Small actions stack. They build confidence. They give you proof that you are capable, even in moments when you don't feel ready. The key is to stop measuring success by how much you complete and start measuring it by how often you start. That shift from outcome focus to initiation focus is where procrastination begins to die. Because you don't need motivation to take the first step. You just need movement. And once you move, motivation usually follows. But you won't know that until you get out of your head and into the process. Waiting to feel inspired is a trap. You don't wait for a fire to get warm. You build it. And you build it by doing, not by thinking about doing. So, the next time you find yourself stuck, unsure, or spiraling in thought, remember this: action clears confusion. Movement creates clarity. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the first one, then another, and another. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes your new standard. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we have more time. More time to chase the dream. More time to make the change. More time to become who we know we're meant to be. But the harsh truth is this: you don't. The time you think you have is an illusion. Life isn't waiting for you to feel ready. Opportunities don't pause while you overthink. The clock is moving, always, and every second you delay is a second you never get back. The cost of procrastination isn't just missed deadlines or delayed projects. It's lost potential, lost momentum, and eventually lost identity. We treat time like it's infinite, like there's always another Monday to begin, another January to restart, another season to get serious. But the people who win in life really win understand that time is a currency. You're either investing it or wasting it. And the scariest part, most people won't even realize the damage procrastination has caused until it's too late. Until the job offer expires. Until the relationship fades. Until the dream feels out of reach. That's when reality hits, not with a loud crash, but with quiet regret. The tragedy isn't that we don't have time. The tragedy is that we don't use it. We assume tomorrow will give us the motivation we lack today. But tomorrow doesn't come with a guarantee. Life is unpredictable. You don't control the length of your time here. You only control how you use it. And the habit of putting things off slowly becomes the habit of putting your life on hold. Every later piles on top of another. One delay becomes a week. One excuse becomes a lifestyle. And soon, you've spent more time avoiding your potential than building it. You'll tell yourself stories to justify the delay. I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I'll do it after I finish this. But deep down, you know those stories are masks. And eventually, they become chains. The only way to break them is to stop bargaining with time. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. They don't exist. You will always be a little afraid, a little uncertain, a little tired. But greatness isn't reserved for those who wait. It's earned by those who act right now, right here, with what they have. If you want a better life, you don't need more time. You need more urgency. You need to treat today like it's your only shot, because in many ways, it is. The version of you that exists in your mind is possible, but that version won't show up through wishful thinking. It shows up through action, repetition, and discipline starting now. Not later. Not someday. Now, so here we are at the moment of truth. You've seen the cost of procrastination. You've felt the weight of what's been slipping through your fingers, not because you weren't good enough, not because you weren't capable, but because you waited. And now you know better. You know that procrastination is not a personality flaw. It's a choice. A choice that repeats itself until it becomes a prison. But the moment you take action, you break the bars. The moment you stop waiting and start moving, you reclaim your power. This isn't about motivation. It's about momentum. It's not about being fearless. It's about being courageous enough to act despite the fear. You don't need the perfect plan. You need a decision. You need to stop telling yourself the same old story and write a new one with action as the author.